Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Music and Therapy Podcast with Relationship Coach Keana W. Mitchell. I am your host, Keana W. Mitchell. Well, I hope everyone is doing well and that you had an amazing weekend and that your day is going amazing. This season, we are going to be doing a lot of new, fun, and exciting things, which includes weekly question and answer sessions in our Facebook group, along with opportunities to be coached by yours truly as you work on improving your marriage. To become a part of the Facebook group, where I will be doing the weekly live sessions and answering questions, be sure to click on the link in the show notes. Or you can go to our website, KeanaWMitchell.com, and click the link on the podcast page, and you will be able to join the Facebook group. On last week's episode of the podcast, we talked about how you can tell if you are in an unhealthy marriage. Here are some takeaways from last week's episode of the podcast. Number 1, there's a lack of trust. Number 2, showing contempt to your spouse. And just remember, contempt is one of the 4 horsemen that Gottman talks about when he talks about things that can definitely destroy and undermine your marriage. Lack of intimacy, number 3. Number 4, abuse is present. Physical, emotional, sexual, or neglect. All of these are present when it comes to unhealthy relationships. Disrespect or blame. These are just some of the takeaways from last week's episode of the podcast. So if you would like to find out more about how you can tell whether you are in an unhealthy relationship, then click on the link in the show notes to listen to last week's episode of the podcast. This week on the podcast, we are going to discuss whether or not you should stay in your marriage or leave your marriage. Now, I know that on the podcast, we talk about ways to stay in a relationship, make it work, but before you can decide to make something work or even work on your marriage or improve yourself and improve your marriage, you have to make a decision. Like, are you going to stay in your marriage and work on it, or are you going to leave? And here's why it's important to make that decision, because you cannot focus on your marriage if you're constantly going back and forth like, nope, I'm going to stay. Nope, I'm leaving. Nope, I'm done. You have to make a conscious decision. Okay, I'm going to stay and I'm going to work it out. Or you have to make a conscious decision like, I'm going to leave and I'm going to work on myself and find something better. So it's just one of those things. You have to make a decision. You cannot improve your marriage if you don't decide that you want to stay in the marriage. So that is where I'm going with this. So here are just some things that we're going to talk about so you can make a decision. Now, I know this is a personal decision, so I'm not going to tell you to stay and I'm not going to tell you to leave. But what we're going to do is talk about some things that you can focus on, think about before you make the decision, so you can decide if you actually want to work on a marriage or if it's worth your while to work on it, or if you decide you want to leave. There's no wrong answer, no wrong decision. The choice is yours, and you are right regardless of what choice you make. But you have to make a decision to either stay or leave. So here are things you should look at when you're trying to make that decision. I think it's important to first assess your goals. Consider what you want to achieve by either leaving or staying. So I know some people, they want to stay, they want to work on a marriage because they see, okay, this could be a future, something could happen here, things could be good. Or other people are like, this is not working. I've put up with this for long enough and I could find someone better, or my life could be better without this person, or maybe financially I'd be better off without them. Whatever it is, what do you want to achieve? What are your goals? For example, if you're leaving the marriage because your needs are unmet, then you have lost hope that things will get better in the marriage. So if you've lost hope that things are going to get better, then you may choose to stay, or may choose to leave instead of staying. Because most of the people who stay in marriages, they have hope, like, okay, this is bad right now, but things can get better. I still see a future with this person. But if you lost hope and think that, okay, this person's never going to be able to meet my needs, nothing ever is going to come of this, then it might be better if you left. So the question is, are there specific goals that you want to accomplish? If you have some goals that you want to accomplish, think about these goals and think about would staying help you reach these goals, or would leaving help you accomplish these goals? When you can have a goal, a clear goal in mind, then you can decide what to do. So if you say something like, I want my marriage to be better, that's a goal. So then you may decide to stay. If you say, I want to be loved like I've never been loved before, I want to be in a relationship that's whatever, this is what I need in a relationship, and you're not getting that, then leaving might be an answer. But that would still be a goal because you want to be in a different type of relationship or marriage than the one you currently have. So assess your goals and let that be part of your decision making. Evaluate, this is for number 2, evaluate the workability of your marriage. So with this one, think about the overall health of your relationship. Now, when we talk about problems, every couple has them, everyone goes through things, but think about, is this something you can do differently to improve the quality of your marriage? So if there is something you can do differently to improve the quality of your marriage, then staying might be an option. If you feel hopeful about your marriage, then staying might be an option. However, if you're feeling dread when you think about the direction of your marriage and you can't see a future with this person, you're just like, I don't see things getting better, and in order for my life to improve, I need to do something else, then maybe leaving might be a better option for you. So the question is it functional? Are there persistent issues that make your marriage unworkable? Sometimes people do stay together out of habit or fear of change, even when the relationship is no longer fulfilling. And even though I'm a relationship coach, and even though I do think marriage is workable, we have to admit sometimes it's just at a point where it's not going to work. And I would hate for you to stay in something that's not going to work and you be unhappy. So the point is, you just have to focus, and it's all based on you, what you want out of life, what you're looking for in a relationship. Is this a workable situation, or is this marriage unworkable? I would also consider seeking professional help. I would advise you to do that, because in order to make a decision, you have to be able to make informed decisions. And how can you make informed decisions? Okay, well, let me just tell you. You cannot make informed decisions when you are in an emotional place, when you're not in a good mental state. You can't make a good decision. You can't make a good decision when you're angry, when you're resentful, when you hate someone. You can't make a good decision if you are emotionally unstable or in a bad emotional state. You cannot make a good decision. So, regardless of what decision you make, I would encourage you to seek professional help or get coaching so that you can get some help. You can figure out your feelings, what you're thinking, if you want to improve the marriage. Even when you're going through therapy, if you don't want to improve the marriage, you can still improve your communication. You can gain clarity and insight about you, who you are, what you want, what you don't want. All of these things can help you make good decisions. So for example, if you are in counseling and you decide, hey, I do want a certain kind of marriage, I'm looking for these qualities, whatever, and you realize that your spouse has these qualities already, then you may decide, oh, well, maybe we can work this out. But you would have been making an informed decision. Or if you are talking to the counselor about qualities that you're looking for and you realize your spouse never had any of these qualities and they don't, then you might make a different choice. But the whole point is, regardless of what you choose, you would be able to make an informed decision, because a counselor or a coach can help you focus on you, help you think, get clarity, get some sanity, get your mental health back. And when you are in a good emotional state, then you can make decisions about whether you want to stay or whether you want to leave. I never, ever, ever advise anyone to make personal decisions or to make decisions that can affect your life or the life of your children when you are not in a good emotional place. So seeking professional help can help you get into a good emotional place where you can make a decision whether you want to leave or whether you want to stay. So you just have to make a choice. And finally, I'm just going to say, listen to your gut feeling. Now, a few seasons ago, I had a guest on and he talked about intuition. So gut feeling is that intuition. Pay attention to your intuition. Sometimes your instincts are the most valuable insight that you can have. If you are consistently feeling unhappy, unfulfilled, or unsupported, it may be a sign that leaving is right for you. At the end of the day, only you can decide whether or not you should stay in your marriage or leave the marriage. There have been many people who found out their spouse was having affairs and they're like, well, I just had this feeling. I had this gut feeling that something's not right. So if you have a gut feeling that something's not right and you're feeling uncomfortable and everything just feels wrong, then hey, maybe that is your body's way of letting you know this is not good. You know this isn't a good relationship. It's time to end. It's time for you to leave. Or if you have a gut feeling that, okay, maybe things could get better, maybe things could change if we did this, and your spouse is willing to do this with you, then that might be your body's way of telling you, okay, so there's hope for this relationship. But whatever your gut feeling tells you, it is very important to listen to whatever it is that your gut is telling you about your marriage. In addition to seeking professional help, evaluating the workability of your marriage, and thinking about your goals and what you want out of the relationship, all of these things can help you make these decisions. So guys, just remember that each marriage is different, it's unique. There are different circumstances, different situations, and all of these things make up the foundations of our marriage. So it's important to remember that just because Sally left or decided to stay in the same situation doesn't mean you have to decide to stay in that same situation. Just because Johnny decided he was going to leave the marriage for a different situation doesn't mean you have to leave for the same situation. Everyone's different. Everybody's unique. So what you choose is just based on what's best for you, what's best for your kids, what's best for your mental health, your emotional health. So what I want you guys to do before you make any decisions is to take your time, seek support, prioritize your well-being as you consider whether you should stay or leave. Don't make any rash decisions. But what I'm saying is this. In the next few weeks, we're going to talk about what to do if you decide to stay in your marriage and improve your marriage. How you can improve your marriage while you are working on yourself. But ultimately, before you can even make a decision to improve your marriage, you have to decide whether or not you want to stay. So once you decide whether or not you want to stay, then it will be easy for you to say, okay, I'm going to work on the marriage. This is what I'm going to do. But even if you leave, you can still work on yourself, okay? So it's one of those things, like, you can still work on yourself whether you decide to stay or leave. And here's the thing, like, even if you decide to leave and you're working on yourself, you can always find a different relationship, but be in an emotionally healthy place so that you can attract that kind of relationship that you want. And if you are in an unhealthy relationship, if you improve yourself and become emotionally healthy, then you can help your relationship to become emotionally healthy as well. All right? So the decision is ultimately up to you, and you have to choose what you want to do. But please take some time with this decision. Do not make rash decisions. Take some time, get support, and prioritize your mental health so that you can make a rational and informed decision about whether you should stay or go. So the song we're going to listen to this week is called He Cheated on Me, and this song is about a woman who has to make a decision whether or not she's going to stay in her marriage.
He says my name, and he's always buying me things. It's plain to see that he really loves me. By sending me flowers and writing a note, the words that he says always seem to make my day. Looking from the inside out, it seems like we are happy, but what people don't even know is that he cheated on me. Nobody knows all of the pain that he caused when he decided to break those simple vows that we made. But he keeps sending me flowers and writing a note. Right now I don't believe one single word that he said. Looking from the inside out, it seems like we are happy, but what people don't even know is that he cheated on me. This marriage is just a lie. We're keeping up appearances. Things are not what they seem. He really, really, really hurt me. Looking from
Before I end the podcast, I would like to thank you so much for being here with me today. I absolutely love hanging out with you each week, and it's always a pleasure to spend time with you. If you love the podcast as much as I love spending time with you, I encourage you to share this week's episode with a friend or family member and make sure that you like and follow the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. I will also love it if you will leave a review for the podcast so you can let me know how much you are enjoying the show. Because I am so thankful to you guys, I am going to be giving away a free gift. I understand that being married can be difficult and stressful at times. So if you are looking for a way to stop arguing and resolve issues in your marriage, then click the link below in the show notes to download your free PDF about how to solve problems in your marriage. If you would like to contact me, feel free to contact me on social media by clicking the links in the show notes, and I promise you that I will respond to your message. Well, I think that's all for now. So until next week, have an amazing day and a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.